joy that can be touched, seen, and felt with all the senses. The joy is genuine rustic and enduring its very structures and rules. This essay is not meant to ignore the difficulties of the construction journey. Instead, it is a journey of exploration, an effort to turn the lesser-read pages to find and celebrate the joyful truths, the noble spiritual values that sprout and blossom every day. Let us step into that world together to see that in the heart of reinforced concrete, the flowers of happiness are always quietly blooming. Chapter 1. The joy in construction does not begin with the sound of a It originates much earlier in a much quieter place, in the architect's drafting table. To the uninitiated, technical grid may seem like a chaotic jumble of lines, numbers, and incomprehensible symbols. But to those in the industry, it is a dream waiting to be awakened. 1.1. From idea to form. Each line is more than just a welcome the morning sun, or a balcony where a family will gather on a cool evening. The first is the joy of see the soul of the structure. They can walk through a house that intellectual resonance. The blueprint as a treasure map. When the completed blueprint is handed over to the construction site is a special one. It carries with it a sense of excitement and it to the challenge. They look at it and see their work laid out for the coming months or coming years. The iron builder sees the position of every steel bar or bed, every tie only. The mason sees every row of bricks. Your objective in the vast and somewhat chaotic space of the construction site. It brings confidence. Instead of working by guessing, everyone knows their exact role and task within a larger picture. This joy comes from clarity and a sense of ownership over one's work. They are not first note of the grand symphony. The atmosphere of a groundbreaking ceremony always carries a special. The first shovel is symbolic. The ritual of scooping the first shovels of sand and earth is not just a it is a deeply when the shovel blade gets in, it is like a the rustling sound of sandfall all become meaningful. In that moment, everyone feels a sense of solemnity. The investors smile with hope.
The architects and Anginas exchange glances of trust.
And the workers, they feel the weight of responsibility, but are also filled with excitement. The empty plot of land before them is no longer an inanimate space. From this moment on, it has become the project.
Madre, no, esos malditos vatos no. No echan ganas, men.
They sow into this land their faith and hope for a successful harvest in the future. It is a pure, optimistic feeling, a
a positive energy that spreads throughout the site. 2. Februar, Erwachen auf Machtnehmer. After the formal rituals, the construction site begins to Konstruktion Arise. The roar of the excavator and bulldozer engines is not about the noise, but the voice of the. The excavator extends its giant bucket, scooping up the first massive area, carving out the foundation of land. For the workers, this sound is familiar and exciting. It signals that the work has truly begun. They put on their protective suits, on their hard hats of various colors, turning the site into a living canvas playground. There is a unique joy in this transformation of the landscape. Defined in just a few days. The visible change, day by day, hour by hour, brings an immediate sense of satisfaction. Energy into kinetic energy. The massive machine. Becomes a giant orchestra, and the greatest joy here is the joy of being a musician, contributing to a harmonious symphony. 3.1. The unspoken language of the workers. Amidst the noise of machinery, words sometimes become unnecessary. The experience of construction workers is to develop their own language. The language of nods, hand gestures, and knowing glances. The person below passes up a single. So perfect, it is almost telepathic. It's like dancing. Brings a deep sense of pride and connection. They are not just colleagues, they are confidants. 3.2. The construction site, each team is an expert in its own field. The foundation team, the steel frame team, the formwork team, the masonry team, the electric team.
Every time now. Keep going.
The electrician, when running wires, will be careful not to affect the structure just completed by the masonry team. The painter will wait for the plaster layer before starting his work. The formwork team believes that their precision will determine the straightness and rigidity of the concrete wall. Constructing exchanges. Hey, masonry team, please be prepared here for us to run the pipes. Let us know. These requests are always met with willingness, because they understand that the quality of one person this joy is the joy of a micro-society, where every individual has value, respect, creating an egalitarian work environment is paramount. The feeling of trust creates a silent conductor. For this orchestra to perform perfectly, but they are the ones who read the sheet music, blueprint, and coordinate the finish on schedule. makes, he rests in the music. In the midst of genuine and warm cold. These are the necessary rests in the noisy symphony of construction site, a time for everyone to recharge and strengthen their camaraderie. The most familiar and beautiful image is perhaps that of a newly built wall, or simply sitting on stacks of bricks. They share stories. These stories are not always about them. One person shares a cigarette with the person next to them. Another pours on. Nope. They share not just tea and cigarettes, but also their thoughts and words. Or is everything all right at home? An incredible connect. These relationships. Everyone bringing lunch box from home. But it offers food to my family made spring rolls yesterday. Have some of my pickled egg cheese. It goes well with the rice. These spontaneous eat and talk animated. The sound of their laughter and chatter drowns out the distant hum of machinery. This joy comes from community, from the feeling of belonging to a group. The meal is not just to fill the stomach, it's to nourish the spirit. This sharing reveals a beautiful aspect of the workers' culture. Despite life's hardships, they are turning strangers and colleagues into close friends and brothers. 4.3. The short break. After lunch comes a precious few dozen minutes of napping. Their resting place can be anywhere, on a wooden plank, inside a large uninstalled concrete. In the midst of the hustle. In that short sleep, they temporarily get the sun. Refreshed. A big stretch, a smile, and they are ready. It shows the incredible adaptability of human beings. These rests, though brief, are crucial for the symphony of construction.
Wow! Good news. No need to pull the engine out.
I've never seen.
It is the joy of mastery, of commanding skills and materials, transforming raw elements. His movements are as rhythmic as a dance. His left hand scoops just the right amount of mortar. Decisively. His right hand places the brake, using the test of his trowel to tap it gently into place. He squints, sighting along the taut guide saw. Everything must be perfectly straight. For him, building a wall is not just stacking bricks. It is an art. His joy lies in creating a picture. To him is a masterpiece. It is a testament to his patience, his meticulousness, and the experience accumulated over decades. This joy is the joy of perfection, of pursuing precision down to the millimeter. It is the flow state, losing track of time and his surroundings. There is only him, the brick, and the desire to create an absolute straight line. It is a pure joy, derived from the very essence of the world. A carpenter has a special frame, a gracefully curving staircase. The sound of the plane gliding smoothly, creating thin, curled shavings. The decisive sound of the chisel, creating mortises and tendons that fit together perfectly without a single nail. This is the joy of creation, shaping life into material. He converses with it. He respects every grain, trying to preserve its natural beauty while shaping it to his will. He fits a door into its frame, with lines perfect, opening and closing smoothly and silently. It is the joy of bringing a building to life. The electricity
Waar die nakken eruit.
The first time electric light fills the newly built rooms has a special magic. It's not just a light, but a symbol of modern life. Everyone will often let out a cheer of delight. Similarly, a plumber installs lights and this joy is the joy of function, of bringing convenience and vitality to a space. Smooth sailing. It is fraught with challenges, from harsh weather and on-site problems to complex technical. Joy arises, the joy of conquest, intellect, and resilience. Constantly in dialogue with the sun, the wind, and the rain. On scorching summer days, joy is not absent. It is the joy of finding a shady corner to rest. The cool breeze that dries the sweat. It is the hearty laughter as they splash water on each other's cool day. They don't complain. They wear wide-brimmed hats and thick shirts to fight the intensity. The perseverance. Covering materials and reinforcing areas fresh and cool. The sky clears and a rainbow appears in the puzzle solvers on site. Reality does not At such times, the construction site turns into a giant puzzle. Collective intelligence gather together. They don't panic. Take what if we to break the slightly offsides, we were just released from mortar joints to project, there are always phases that are considered the hardest. Pouring a massive concrete slab in a single, continuous operation, requiring the coordinated everyone is highly focused, sweat pouring down, but no one dares to be careless. The foreman constantly gives signals, teams coordinate like a they are comrades. 3.2. Mutual respect among trades. On a construction site, each team is an expert in its own field. The foundation team, the steel frame team, the formwork team, the masonry team, the electrical and plumbing team, the painting team. Each has an individual role. The joy of collaboration also comes from the mutual respect among each trade. The electrician, when running wires, will be careful not to affect the structure just as the formwork team. Let us know when you're done so our trades can get to work. Because they understand that the quality of one person's work directly affects the next, and ultimately, the quality of the entire run. This joy is the joy of a microorganism. Each individual has value and is respected for their skills. It erases distinctions, creating an egalitarian work environment where the common goal is the feeling of trusting and being trusted creates a tremendous collective spirit.
Senhor Jesus.
On schedule. They are happy when they see the steel structure erected sturdy. They are happy when they see different players coordinating seamlessly. Their joy is the joy of witnessing the complex plan on paper gradually being realized smoothly in the field. They are the connectors between departments. When there is a conflict between the electrical and plumbing, they are the ones who lead it. When the weather is unfavorable, they are the ones who adjust the work schedule to ensure safety and progress. In the midst of swinging working hours, the short breaks are when joy reveals itself in its most necessary rests in the noisy symphony of the construction site, the time for everyone to recharge and strengthen their camaraderie. 4.1. On site. The most familiar and beautiful image is perhaps that the workers huddled around a pot of strong tea, hastily brewed in an old aluminum can. In the shade of a newly built road, or simply sitting on stacks of bricks, they share stories with their everyday lives. These stories are not always about work. They talk about their children at home, the harvest season in their hometown, the football match from the night before. Bursts of hearty laughter ring out.
Please don't bring superpowers to work.
One person shares a cigarette with the person next to them, another pours a hot cup of tea for a friend. In these moments, the distance between master craftsman and apprentice, between old and young, disappears. All that remains is human connection, rustic and sincere. The joy here is the joy of sharing. They share not just tea and cigarettes, but also their thoughts and words. The construction site is not just a workplace, it is a second family. Simple, daring questions like, "Are you tired today? Okay? Or is everything all right?" Incredible power. These relationships but it is the best meal of the day. They spread out an old tarp and sit together in a circle. The meal becomes a miniature buffet where everyone spontaneously offers food to one another. My wife's braised fish is delicious today. Try it out. My family made spring rolls yesterday. What do you? Uncle, have some of my pig.
Eu gostei sim. Amostra a minha. Vou fazer logo sua passagem. Fica de sua desgraça, eu vou botar.
The sound of their laughter and chatter drowns out the
Vai essas confusão, velho. Não dá pra ir não, viado.
fill the stomach. It's to nourish the spirit. This sharing reveals the true aspect of the worker's culture. Despite life's hardships, they are still willing to share and help one another. It is these collective lunch breaks after lunch comes a precious few dozen minutes of napping.
No.
Inside a large or simply leaning their head against a bag of cement. Though makeshift, it is a peaceful sleep. They temporarily forget the sun, the wind, and the fatigue in their muscles. When they wake up, though perhaps still a bit groggy, they're smiling. A big stretch, a smile, and they are ready for the afternoon shift. It shows the incredible adaptability of human beings. No matter the circumstances, they know how to continue to work with renewed energy. These rests, though brief, are crucial for the symphony of the construction site to continue playing strongly and persistently. Chapter 5. The Dance of Skill and Material. The Joy of Mastery. If the joy of collaboration comes from the relationship between people, there is another, deeper and more personal joy that comes from the relationship between a worker and their craft. It is the joy of mastery, of commanding skills and materials, of transforming raw elements into perfect products.
5. Januar, the Mason ends the art of the straight line. Watch Achille Mason at work.
His movements are as rhythmic as a dance. His right hand places the brick, using the handle of his trowel to tap it gently into place. Perfectly straight. For him, building a wall is not just stacking bricks. It is an art form. His joy lies in creating a perfectly flat surface, a joint of mortar that is flawlessly uniform. After finishing a section of wall, he steps back, admiring his work with a satisfaction over decades. This joy is the joy the brick and the desire to create a personal straight line. It is a pure joy, derived from the very essence of the work.
5. Februar, Kapelle Soul in the Center of the Building.
A carpenter has a special connection with his material, creating thin, curled shavings. The decisive sound of a chisel, creating mortises and tenons that fit together perfectly without a single nail. This is the joy of creation, of breathing life When one thinks of construction, the images that often come to mind For hidden beneath that rough, coarse exterior lies a world of vibrant joy, a symphony of colors. It is a joy that can be touched, seen, and felt with all senses. Not the interest nor the difficulties of the construction trade. Instead, it is a journey of exploration, an effort to take the lesser pages of the story, to find and celebrate the joyful spiritual values.
Are you kidding me?
Together, we will listen to the story of the joy of journey. may seem like a chaotic ink script. It is the embodiment of a future. A window frame for a welcoming morning sun, or a balcony where a family will gather on a cool evening. The first joy is the joy of visualization, of imagination. When the engineer and project manager receive the set of blueprints, they don't just see dry figures. They see the soul of the structure. They can walk through a house that doesn't yet exist, sensing the space, the light, and how the will flow. It is a silent but incredibly exciting dialogue. Finding joy in reinforced concrete. When one thinks of construction, the images that often come to mind are of hardship, of dust, or beads of sweat rolling down sunburned faces. This perspective is not wrong, but it is incomplete. For hidden beneath that rough, coarse exterior lies a world of creativity, camaraderie, and quiet pride. It is a joy that can be touched, seen, and felt with all the senses. A joy that is genuine, rustic, and enduring as the very structures it creates. This essay an effort to turn the lesser-read pages of a familiar story to find and celebrate the joyful moments. This is not just a story about buildings, it is a story about living. It is the story of talented hands, creative minds, and enthusiastic hearts that have come together to be as one, transforming noisy construction sites into a stage for the joy of labor. Let us step into that world together, to see that in the heart of reinforced concrete, the flowers of happiness are always not begin with the sound of the pickaxe. It originates much earlier in a much quieter place. But to those in the industry, it is a dream. Or a balcony where a family can gather on the table. The first joy. They see the soul of the structure. They can walk through a house that doesn't yet exist, sensing the space, light, and how the air will flow. It is a silent but incredibly exciting dialogue. They discuss every small detail. This corner should be rounded slightly to create a softer feel. The window here should be widened to capture the equipment. The electrical system should be laid out like this to optimize convenience and safety. Each discussion, each adjustment is not an argument. It's a step towards a more perfect version of the dream. The joy here is the joy of intellectual resonance, when multiple minds focus on a single goal, collectively nurturing a common goal. Is handed over to the construction team, it becomes something more than a dream. It is a detailed map leading to a tangible treasure. And the workers, as they first unroll the large construction site, is a special one. It carries with it a sense of excitement. The iron worker sees the position of every steel bar he will bend, every time it will make. Pristine final product that she will help create in the final state. The blueprint creates order, a clear objective in the vast and somewhat chaotic space of the construction site. It brings every time a part of the structure is completed exactly as shown on this, it's complementary that they are on the right path. The minute of beginnings. If the blueprint is the dream, then the groundbreaking ceremony is the opening drum roll, the first note of the grand symphony. This is the moment when the idea begins to become Sense of solemnity. The investors smile with hope. This moment has become the project of all work. The joy here is the joy of anticipation. Like a farmer sowing the first seeds in his field, they sow into this land their faith and hope for a successful harvest in the future. It is a pure, optimistic feeling. After the formal rituals, the construction bulldozer engines is not a bothersome noise, but the voice of power and readiness. The excavator extends its giant bucket, scooping up the first masses of earth, carving out the foundational trenches. For the workers, this sound is a familiar and exciting one. It signals that the work has truly begun. They put on their protective gear, on their hard hats of various colors, a living canvas of labor. There is a unique joy in witnessing the transformation of the landscape. A wild, overgrown vegetation that can be clearly defined. This is the joy of action, of turning between muscle power and mechanical light creates an energetic opening dance inside. Every element, every scoop of earth is a melody beginning. Melody performances a great structure,
Top of life, the orchestra on site, the joy of collaboration.
A building is never the product of a single individual. It is a collective work of art.
If your life is too
created by the
peaceful, it's
harmonious
just plain
coordination of
boring.
Dozens, even hundreds, of people with different specializations. The construction site thus becomes a giant orchestra, and the greatest joy here is the joy of being a musician, contributing to a harmonious symphony. 3.1. The unspoken language of the workers. Amidst the noise of machinery, words sometimes become unnecessary. Experienced construction workers have developed their own language. Know how to receive it and which way to turn it. A light tap on the floor is a symbol. The ratio of cement, sand, and water is measured by his experience, by the feel of his hands. Perfect is almost telepathic. It's like dancers performing together, knowing the others next to you is unified. Feeling being part of a smoothly running machine, where each person is vital, brings a deep sense of on a construction site, each team is an expert in its own field. The foundation team, the steel frame team, the formwork team, the masonry team, the electrical and plumbing team, the painting team. Each has an irreplaceable role. The joy of collaboration also the electrician, when running wires, will be careful not to affect the structure just completed by the masonry team. These can weight of plaster layers from the masonry team to drive the machine. The formwork team knows that the precision will determine the strength and beauty of the concrete wall beam. There are brief construction stages. Say masonry team. Let us know when you're done so our steel team can get to work. These requests are always met with willingness. This joy is the joy of a micro-society, where every individual creates a tremendous collective strength, turning seemingly separate different teams coordinating seamlessly. Their joy is when there is a conflict between the electrical and plumbing teams, they are the ones to mediate, finding an optimal solution for both. When the weather is unfavorable, they are the ones to adjust the work schedule to ensure safety and progress. The sight of a complex machine of hundreds of people operating smoothly under one's coordination brings an immense sense of satisfaction. Of strenuous working hours, the short breaks when joy reveals itself in its most genuine form. These are the necessary rests in the noisy symphony of the construction site, the time for everyone to recharge and strengthen their in the shade of a newly built wall, or simply sitting on stacks of the ring out, chasing away fatigue. One person shares a cigarette with the person next to it, another pours a hot cup of tea for a friend. In these moments, the distance between master craftsman and apprentice, between old and young, disappears. All that remains is human connection, rustic and sincere. The joy here is the joy of sharing. They share not just tea and cigarettes, but also their thoughts and worries. It is a second family. Simple, caring questions like, "You look tired today, are you okay?" Hard work because they know they are often simple, with everyone bringing a lunchbox from home. My wife's braised fish is delicious today. Try a piece. My family makes pieces of food passed back and forth, turn a humble meal into a feast of fellowship. They eat and talk animatedly. The sound of their laughter and chatter drowns out the distant hum of machinery. This joy comes from community, from the feeling that the meal is not just to fill the stomach, it's to nourish the spirit. This sharing reveals a beautiful aspect of the workers' culture. Despite life's hardships, they are still willing to share what they have.
Y'all know I gotta get him.
It is these
My boy got on
collective
the walk
relationships
with me,
turning
Lord.
strangers
Yeah,
into close
walk
friends
with
and
me. He don't even care about it. I
brothers.
said, walk with me.
After lunch comes a precious few dozen minutes of meal. Their resting place can be anywhere, on a wooden plank or inside a large or simply though makeshift, it is a pleasant speed. The steady snoring of the wind music, the gentle breeze blowing through the unfinished window frames, all creates a surprisingly serene scene in the midst of the sun, the wind, and the fatigue in their muscles. And when they wake up, these rests no breathing. The symphony of the construction site continue playing strongly and persistently. Chapter 5, the dance of skill and material, the joy of mastery. With the joy of collaboration comes from the relationship between people. There is another, deeper, and more personal joy that comes from the relationship between a worker and their craft. It is the joy of mastery, of commanding skills and materials, of transforming raw elements into perfect products. 5. Januar His movements are as rhythmic as a dance. His left hand scoops just the right amount of mortar, spreading it decisively on the roll of bricks. His right hand sighting along the taut guide. Everything must be perfectly straight. For him, building a wall is not just stacking bricks. It is an art form. His joy lies in creating a perfectly flat surface, a jointed mortar This joy is the joy of perfection, pursuing precision down to the millimeter. It's the flow state when the worker is completely immersed in his task, losing track of time and his surroundings. There is only him, the brick, and the desire to create an absolute straight line. It is a pure joy, derived from the very essence of the work. The carpenter has a special connection with his material. Before starting, he will often stroke the surface of the master carpenter is one who understands that personality. His joy comes from turning rough the sound of the plane gliding smoothly, creating thin, curled stages. The decisive sound of the scissors, creating mortises and saws that fit together perfectly without a single man. This is the joy of creation, breathing life into material. He doesn't just work with wood. First, he respects every grain, trying to preserve its natural beauty while shaping it to his will. When he hits the opening and closing smoothly and silently is a moment of pure bliss. That result is not just love, it's a successful dialogue. In the corner of the iron workshop, spark from the welding machines the ironworker, hidden behind his protective mask, is performing his own dance. He bends rigid steel bars into soft layers according to the rhythm. He lays down precise wires, connecting separate pieces of iron into a solid frame. A beautiful weld for him must have good penetration, be even shiny and without gaps. That is the standard of his craft. The joy of the ironworker is the joy of conquest. He conquers the hardness of metal, using high heat to forcibly degrade his work. The act of the skeleton built into an ornate mountain railing brings a sense of power and pride. He knows that hidden behind the beautiful layers of plastic is a frame made by his hands that gives strength and longevity to his masterpiece. One who creates the backbone, and the joy is electricians and plumbers is often hidden behind walls, but their joy is everything is absolutely safe and scientific. His greatest symbol of life of modern comfort. Everyone will often let out a cheer at the light. Similarly, the plumber installs pipes and valves. His joy comes from the clean water, and clean water. This joy is the joy of comfort, bringing convenience and vitality to a space. Quiet but immense pride. Chapter 6. Conquering challenges. Not always smooth sailing. It is fraught with challenges, from harsh weather and on-site problems to complex technical problems. However, it is precisely in the process of facing
What caused this to happen?
a special kind of joy arises. Wow! Of intellect and resilience.
6. Januar 2015.
Therefore, the workers must constantly be in dialogue with the sun, the wind, They don't complain, they adapt. They wear wide brimmed hats and thick shirts. Their harsh weather brings the
It's been a really tough day at the drilling rig.
indoor tasks. Areas vulnerable to rain. And after a downpour, the air becomes fresh and cool. Priceless gift from nature, bringing fresh and pure joy. 6.2. The puzzle solvers on site. Reality is not always matched What if we reinforce the foundations in this area? We can reroute the plumbing system to avoid the obstacles. This backup brick is slightly offside. We'll adjust the thickness of the mortar unit to compensate. The joy here is the joy of creativity under pressure. The aha moment of finding a smart, effective solution to a tricky problem is incredibly satisfying.
The driver of the car that recorded the incident noticed an issue with the rear right wheel of the truck ahead. He swerved into oncoming traffic to alert the truck driver, possibly saving his own life in the process. At that moment, the wheel blew out and flew off onto the road.
They even made us learn to fly.
Because they understand that the quality of one person's work directly affects the joy of a microsociety, where every individual has value and is respected. Distinctions, creating an egalitarian work environment where the common goal.
Yes, 来了，来了。 Teta ơi. Thấy rồi cô.
Another pours a hot cup of tea. In these moments, the distance between master craftsman and apprentice, between old and young, disappears. All that remains is human connection, trust, and sincere. The joy here is the joy of sharing. They share not just tea and cigarettes, but also their thoughts. Tired is delicious today. Try it please. My family made spring rolls yesterday. Have a few. Uncle, have some of my pickled eggplant. It goes well with the rice. These spontaneous offers, the pieces of food passed back and forth, turn a humble meal into a feast of fellowship. They eat and talk animatedly. The sound of their laughter and chatter drowns out the distant. The meal is not just to fill the stomach, it's to nourish the spirit. This sharing reveals a beautiful aspect of workers' culture. Despite life's hardships, they are still willing to share what they have with one another. It is these collective lunch breaks that lead to strong bonds of affection. Strangers in the short after lunch comes a precious few dozen minutes of napping. Their resting place could be anywhere, on a wooden plank. The steady snoring of a friend nearby. That short sleep, temporarily forget the sun. A big stretch, a smile, and they are ready for the afternoon shift. It shows the incredible adaptability of human beings. No matter the circumstances. These rests, though brief, are crucial for the safety of these workers. Chapter 5. If the joy of collaboration comes from the relationship. His movements are as rhythmic as his hand. His left hand swings just the right, spreading it decisively on the golf rails. His right hand places it, using the handle of his trowel to tap it gently into place. He squints, sighting along the taut wall. Everything must be perfectly straight. For him, building a wall is not just stacking bricks. It is an art form. His joy lies in creating a perfectly flat surface. Admiring his work with a satisfied smile. That wall. Meticulousness and the experience accumulated over decades. This joy is the joy of perfection, of pursuing precision. The worker is completely immersed in his task, losing track of time and his surroundings. There is only him, the brick, and the desire to create an absolute straight line. It is a pure joy, derived from the very essence of the work. A carpenter has a special connection with his material.